And by some demand, let's go over the changes that are going to be coming with Operation Orchid.
Who's that sexy news guy? It's different. Yes, it's different. And he's on the channel. Whatever we make it on news.
Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Diff3Rent, and today we're going to go over the patch notes for Operation Orchid. This video is going to be full and in-depth of mostly everything that is there on the website. Now, I've had you guys tell me that you don't like when I write things down, and I've had you guys tell me that you don't like when I don't write things down, so let's try and find a happy medium today. I've also heard some feedback about these videos and said that they're a little bit boring. I understand that they're not for everybody, but let's go ahead and try and make it a little bit better. And let me know what you think about the style in the comments below. If you find yourself liking this content and haven't hit that subscribe button, consider subscribing. And without any further ado, let's get on to the patch notes. So let's go over this new Operation Blood Orchid. And in this operation, we have two new operators joining Team Rainbow to raid Theme Park. As you probably already know, their names are Ying and Lizhen. Ying is supporting an assault rifle and a shotgun. For her secondary, she has a pistol. For her gadgets, you have a breach charge and some smoke grenades. She's going to be 2-speed and 2-armor operator. Lizhen is supporting a suppressed shotgun, the same version as Ying, except his is suppressed and hers is not. He also has an SMG. For his secondary, he has a pistol. His gadgets are impact grenades and deployable shields. He is also a 2-speed, 2-armor operator. Ying is going to be able to throw out a cluster of flash charges. Now, these are non-lethal. They work exactly like flash grenades work right now. But what's good about these is that you cannot be stunned by your own flashes. So you can throw it in a room, run right in, and don't even have to be worried about it. These are going to be invisible to everybody except IQ, who can only see them with her unique ability. If you get hit by this, there will be a needle that will go inside of you that will give you poisonous and cause damage to you over time. To stop this, you have to stop doing what you're doing and pull out the needle, which will then give your opponent time to go in and attack you. You can also not be sprinting while the needle is in you. And onto the new map, Theme Park. Now, we went over this in a previous video, so we're not going to really touch this too much. Here's the new weapon skins for this season. I kind of like the white one, but because of the color, I may not just get it. Just because, you know, white is probably going to be pretty bright, and think about the tactile aspect, you want to be a little bit darker, so I think I'm just going to steer clear of all of these. But they're not bad. They do look nice. Which one is your favorite? And with this new season, we'll be getting another operator, Ella, from the Polish side. Ella will be supporting an assault rifle and also a semi-automatic shotgun. Her secondary is a pistol with a sight. You can't change the sight, but it's got a sight on it. Secondary gadgets are barbed wire and impact grenades. She is a 3-speed, 1-armor operator. Her unique ability is to throw out sticky grenades, much like the foreigners from Halo, that are proximity, which means that when an enemy operator gets close to them, they're going to go off, which causes something of an effect like a yokai drone effect. Let's go over the health program now. So if we look through it, talks about Operation Health and what it was, blah, blah, blah. New upgraded servers are going to be deployed. So those are coming in this season. They talked about having new servers last season, but I guess, you know, that didn't happen. So we're doing it this season now. So let's go ahead and move on. Improved lighting. So here's what we're looking for. Here's the before. You know, this is what we have now. You can barely see anything. But after, you'll be able to see pretty much everything, which will be nice for a lot of purposes. Also, it's going to work the other way around. Looking inside, you can now see a whole lot more. So this is going to be really nice. I'm actually pretty excited about this. Don't think it's really going to affect spawn peeking as much, but I really see a true benefit on when you're looking inside of the building. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out as time goes over. Here they talk about the new sky model update. So this is what we have now. We can have better looking skies and all that, but I mean, that really doesn't matter too much, does it? And this paragraph just goes over the reflection stuff. So reflection quality will increase, and yeah, little things, you know, little things that count. And now they are talking about how they're going to be fixing each of the maps. So they're going to be going through and they're going to be fixing up the memory budget, which basically means everything is going to be running smoother. And, you know, we get some improved look, so that's a win-win. And optimizing operators, it is pretty much the exact same thing. They're just fixing things up, making it so that it runs smoother, and it actually looks like we get some more detail too, so again, a win-win. And this paragraph goes over just the face itself and how we're going to have more consistent facial reactions. So them changing up, doing whatever that they're doing is aligning the points and the movement of the face to more accurately represent the reactions that the operators are currently going to be having. And they talk about how Hibana's gadget will be more consistent, so pretty much have fixed the issue, or at least they should have. And here's the patch size and all this. You know, it's going to be different for everyone, so there you go. And with loading times, we can know that precisely the consoles will have a 10% faster loading times, but PC we don't know because, you know, everyone's got a different setup, so it'll depend on your own setup. And then they go over some hit registration and high ping. Now this has been a major issue throughout this entire game life. And what all they're saying here is that they're trying to make the encounters more reaction-based rather than just ping-based, which would give a fair fight to those who have a better ping versus those who do not. And they're also working on some shot validation that will further favor players with more stable connections. And now on to some general tweaks and improvements. So this first paragraph is talking about the smoke grenades and Capital smoke darts, which are going to be the exact same, pretty much, is you're not going to be able to see through them at all anymore. They're going to be completely opaque and just a solid blob of smoke. This will make it more consistent for everybody across the board so that you won't be able to see the opponent when they can't see you. And this paragraph is what everyone has been dreading. They're going to take away the ACOG sight from the 2 and 3 speed fenders. So yes, this means that Bandit and Jaeger are getting those taken away. And they won't be introduced to any new 2 or 3 speed defenders. The reason for this is because they feel like the 3 speed operators that can challenge at long distances and they can be able to relocate quickly is too strong. And with this, it doesn't mean that all 3 armored defenders are going to be having ACOGs. These will be decided by the game design team for game balance. And now they're going to be changing the weapon fall-off damage. Now if you don't know what this means, each weapon has its own fall-off damage, which is after a certain distance, the damage that the weapon does gets decreased. So we have 2 examples right here, one's from Buck and one's from Capital. Buck's damage starts to drop after 18 meters, and Capital's starts to drop off after 28 meters. They decided that because of this, it's kind of hard to understand how each of the weapon works and remember all that. So with this new season, they are standardizing the fall-off value, which is definitely good for new players and all those still trying to understand how the weapons work. It is now going to be easier to remember which weapon is affected and how in-game. So here's a list of where the new fall-off damage starts. Now if you look at this list, you will see that there is no shotguns on this list. The reason for this is because they need to have this level of granularity to balance them and properly have them enough variation between each other to keep them interesting. And this list sitting in front of us is an ammo balancing list. With the new fall-off starting point, they are determining which guns should have what amount of ammo. So they are adding ammo to all of these guns. Now this +1, +4, +2, these mean the amount of magazines that are going to be added to the weapons. Now this is some exciting news. You can now have 2 drones deployed at the same time for attackers. Wow, my gosh, that means you can have 10 active cameras at one time. This is going to be a huge advantage to attackers, and I really hope that people take advantage of this because this is just amazing. It is now more important to try to get your first drone into a good place to be able to spot and see, you know, the whole objective or a hallway or anywhere that you want to look, because now you can use your second drone to scout as you move through and still have your first drone in the exact spot where you want it. Looks like there is another spawn kill exploit on Canal that they're fixing up. They're now changing the camera position in first person, and it'll be closer aligned to third person. This paragraph just talks about bullet tracers, hit reactions like decals on the environment, and threat indicators in the UI are now going to be more consistent and accurate. These 2 sentences talk about a piece of debris that can be viewed by one player and not the other, and how it will no longer block sightings when shooting. I don't know how they're going to fix this. Maybe that they're just not going to have that debris show at all. I don't know exactly. This next paragraph talks about debris as well. It will now no longer block the deployment of gadgets. So that's a good thing. And now let's talk about some player stuff. So when going outside as a defender, we currently get a yellowish tint kind of thing. That is being removed. They're no longer going to have that. We're just going to have the red text in the middle of our screen. And this paragraph is pretty exciting. So this pretty much goes over what I was talking about in my drones and cameras should have these video. This is going to give priority over dead players for camera controls. That is great. I'm excited about this. So in case a dead player is AFK while controlling a camera, it prevents alive players from getting info. It does not happen anymore. That is excellent. Crosshairs don't turn red anymore. This is now, so if you're not aiming down sights, you see your crosshairs. If you see someone, they'll turn red. A problem with this is that if you're looking through smoke and it turns red, you can kind of know that somebody is there without actually really seeing them. So they're taking away that aspect of it. The crosshairs are still going to turn green when you're looking at a teammate. However, there's just going to be no more red crosshairs. Now this paragraph is something that I do not like. So now to ID an enemy, you have to scan them. There's no other way around that. You can't just be looking through the drone, staring at somebody and IDing them. I don't like this. The reason why I don't like this is because I want to have my team know who was on the other team. And if I'm trying to put my drone in a more tactical spot and I don't want the opposite team knowing that I have a drone or a camera in that spot, I don't want to use it to scan. So it's going to be a lot more difficult on trying to get the IDs up, and it's going to rely a lot more on communication. It's a little better in the aspect of we want you to communicate, so we're trying to force you to communicate. However, it's not that great when you don't have a team that is really good at communicating. And when I kill someone, I would like to know who I actually killed. So that's nice when you have the ID of an enemy at the top of your screen, you kill the person, the red X goes on that enemy's ID. Now we may not have that because people may not want to be scanning so much since we can have all of our drones out, and if we put our drones in spots, we don't want them to know that we have them there, and it's just, I just wish they kept this in. The reason why they're taking it out is because you can ID somebody without actually seeing them and knowing that they're there, and then you know that somebody's in that area. I have done that a few times, but it really hasn't helped me out. Like, I'm still trying to figure out where they actually are. I mean, just IDing somebody but not actually seeing them doesn't really help knowing where their location is. So I wish that they did not do this. Now we can move on to playlist changes. Not exactly a fan of this either, but they are taking the ranked playlist and becoming it more competitive by only having the Pro League maps in here. So we're only going to have a chance of 9 maps right now, which hopefully it won't get too repetitive. I mean, we'll only see when the gameplay comes out and, you know, you play it more and more and more. I mean, I know people were complaining about maps and this and that, but I'd rather have this stuff in there than take it out. That's just my feeling. I didn't mind it so much that I'd rather have it moved completely, but hey, there you go. So we're doing that. On the new casual, they're also changing casual here. So they're also taking out some maps here. So as you can see, we have the new theme park map, which is great. We don't have Favela. Yacht was the other one that was missing here. So we are having some missing maps here, and they do say that they're going to be tweaking these maps. They're going to take them out, tweak them, and possibly put them back in. I'm not 100% sure. And they do say right here, we are quickly approaching the limit of data sizes. Now, I believe this is because they are changing their servers, and their servers are now going to have a lower amount of data storage itself on them. So I think that they're now approaching their limit pretty quickly, and they're thinking that they're going to be currently planning on removing maps from the game entirely down the road. That's upsetting to me because, I mean, you take all this time, you create this content, it's great, it's lovely, it looks nice, and then you're just going to remove it later down the road. I mean, I understand because, you know, people complain and people don't like it and all that, but it just pains me for that. And hopefully they can figure out a way that they don't have to do this, but who knows? Only time will really tell about that. Also here, they're going to be keeping Terrorist Hunt the same, so we're going to have all the maps available in Terrorist Hunt. They're changing up the game with the barbed wire. They feel like that barbed wire is a must pick for defenders. And I mean, it kind of really is because of how strong it is, and it stops rushes and it stops those end pushes, and it's great. So they want to get rid of that. They don't want it to be so much of a must pick that you're not picking other things because of it. And they want to give you more options, and they want to change up the meta in that way. So they're reducing the reduced speed. So that means they're speeding up the attackers who move through this. They're going to be reduced 45% instead of 50%. So they're going to be moving a little bit faster. Also, it's only going to take 2 melee hits instead of 3 now to get rid of them. This is a nice buff to Jackal. So now instead of marking someone's position every 10 seconds, you're doing it every 5 seconds. So it's more closer to a live feed about where the operator is exactly, which also reduces the time down to 20 seconds instead of 30. That also helps the defender so he doesn't have to sit around so much longer now. And now this includes another marking. So instead of 4, we now have 5. And we got another buff for Bandit. This is pretty exciting. We can now Bandit trick Hibana pellets. I feel like this kind of goes in line with a must pick Hibana over Thermite because if you know somebody's going to be bandit tricking, it's a lot easier to stop them with Hibana than it is with Thermite. I mean, you really can't do it with Thermite, but with Hibana, if you can get your pellets down and start him off before he can put down his battery, then you got the wall broken. But now you can actually bandit trick Hibana pellets while they are fusing. And another buff to bandit's batteries is that it can now kill drones in one shot instead of 2 to 3 hits. I feel like they upped this back to where it was to one shot because we can now have both drones active. So they're making it easier to kill the drones. IQ doesn't detect friendly gadgets anymore. This has been a long thing. And she also detects Echo's arm pad while he's using yokai. So this is similar to Pulse's when he is using his heartbeat scanner. She can now see exactly where Echo is when he is on his drone. And something that everyone's gonna love, Fuse's cluster charging is now gonna be more predictable. The system that we have in place right now is calculated by pre-computing the whole trajectory, but then it switches once a bug hits something and it disregards the remainder of the trajectory. So they're changing this around, and now it is going to be completely pre-computed, and it's going to go exactly where it's supposed to, no matter what. This should hopefully help with the pucks getting stuck inside of the walls and blowing up Fuse or his teammates. Yeah. And now we're not going to get any more hit markers on Blackbeard's shield. They also buffed drones and Twitch's drone, so all drones in the game, they can now see upward more easily. This mostly helps Twitch's drone to allow her to shoot higher cameras easier. A little buff to Glaz is now he does not see dead enemies highlighted anymore, which is great, makes easier to see the alive enemies only. And now it should be easier to hit things with your sledgehammer, especially if we're playing on Windows. And now here's the big daddy main bug fixes. There is a bunch of them. Right. So I'm not going to go over all of these, you know, for reasons. So let me go ahead and highlight the main ones. And before we get into these main bug fixes, I want to say that we possibly may be getting bamboozled with some of these fixes because I think that some of these are already fixed. There was a lot of repeated fixes that were different uniquely, but generally the same. So let me go over some of those. There were some places on maps where the operators were barely visible because of the lighting. There was a lot of places where Yokai's drone is not sticking to the ceiling or that it's losing signal. And there's a lot of missing textures in maps that are being added to stop Valkyrie from throwing her cameras where they don't belong. Some of the main fixes for these operators are that a lot of cosmetic items are being reworked to reduce the memory of it. And there's a lot of reworking of ops meshes to make them more efficient. Okay, so I have gone through all 1003 fixes. Now I haven't gone with them with a fine-tooth comb for, I mean, hopefully some obvious reasons. I'm bad at reading. But I have gone through all of them, and I've picked out some ones which I think are important. So let's go over the 68 out of 1003 fixes that I thought were the most important. First one up on the list is pinging something through the smoke will now cause the ping effect to be placed on the smoke, not through it. Next one is players are sometimes unable to vault over other players' deployable shields. Now this may just be the stoppage to putting the shields in front of the windows, stopping players to vault inside of the window. I don't know. I could be wrong. Could be something completely different. Players that go prone through falling do not make any noise. This is what is known as the silent drop. Looks like they are taking this out now. Players are unable to scan enemies on a friendly drone after theirs are taken out during preparation phase. This is now fixed, guys. Point main! We're going to be able to scan enemies with a friendly drone after theirs is destroyed. Look out. And this one is a buff to shield operators. There is going to be no more of an interruption when you're performing a melee attack. So if both operators, the attacker and defender, are performing a melee attack at the same time, the animation of being your shield thrown away will not happen anymore. Defenders are able to utilize windowsills to spawn kill. This is a good thing to fix. Microwaves have unbreakable glass, which blocks gadgets from being able to be placed inside. This is some good news for Valkyrie, maybe. I don't know if it's going to be too great, but we may be able to put some cams in there to hide them, or maybe it'll help with, I don't know, Ella's ability. Frame of the Black Mirror cannot be destroyed by X-Kairos pellets if the glass has been ejected. This does suck on offense. not being able to push through that hole that was just created, but now it's going to be able to be destroyed and we'll be able to push on through. Enemies can be killed through walls with a melee attack. That's a good thing to fix. The camera position of a player repelling and leaning is not in line with the character model. This, I think, may have happened to me before in the past, where I wasn't able to see somebody who was repelling, but they were able to see me clearly and kill me, and I was aiming exactly where I was imagining they were going to be coming up, but they were able to get the drop on me because they could see me and I couldn't see them. So hopefully that is what this is referring to, and it won't be anymore. Sometimes reloading actually doesn't reload the weapon. I actually had this exact thing happen to me on one of my recent videos. I'm not sure if I posted that whole thing, but I was reloading a smoke and then I had to reload right after. I think it's maybe in the video, or I may have cut it out. I don't know. But either way, that's good that this is going to be fixed. The diffuser cannot be placed on the bomb site after partially destroying the floors. Ooh, if you can now place the diffuser on top of just the beams, that is great because that little exploit there cannot happen anymore. Oh man, that's pretty awesome. Dead bodies can block claymores. Yes, so this is great because now we can place claymores and not have to worry about where the bodies are around. If you die, someone dies, if your teammate dies, or you kill somebody, plant the diffuser near it, and you want to place a claymore, you can now do that without having to worry about their body being in the way. The wrong team wins if the last defender is killed in the last second of the match. That's a good thing to fix. Sometimes the bomb is not registered as detected by the attackers by their drones. This has happened to me so many times. Hopefully this is also fixed on secure area and hostage because I've had that happen to me on both of those as well. That's exciting. I mean, I would look at the objective for at least 2 to 3 seconds and it still wasn't being detected. That was annoying. It happened to me just a couple days ago too, so this is great. Plus you get the 50 points, so point main! Scanning defenders with drones does not always result in identifying them. That has happened to me countless times. That is a good thing to fix, especially because you can now not identify people without scanning them. So that is great that this is going to be fixed. And point main lives on for sure because you get an extra 10 points when you identify someone. So if you scan and identify, that's 35. So yes. Camera does not always properly align with the head while leaning. So maybe this makes you look like you're leaning out less than you actually are so the enemy can see you more. So that is actually a good thing to fix, and hopefully now we can tuck around those corners tighter. Dropping from a height and deploying a gadget will cause players to get stuck in an animation. I have had this happen to me several times. So I'm glad that this is going to be fixed and hopefully no more freezing. A battery can be placed on a reinforced hatch through a partially destroyed walls. I've seen a video on this. Now, I wonder if that trick can still be used, but it looks like it may actually not be able to now. Bug shotgun does not always destroy studs on the wall on all maps. I've actually had this happen to me too, so that's a good fix. A player can execute an exploit that adds additional charges to a stim pistol. Yeah, I've played on a team that has actually done this before, and I've been against a team that has done that before too. It's a good thing to be able to fix for sure. We shouldn't have this be running in the game at all. The camera cloaking visual effect is displayed for too long on Yokai's drone, so that is going to be shortened. A Yokai drone can be deployed outside of the building on a door frame. Now, I don't know if they mean like the window frames and stuff like that, because I have seen some dirty places to be able to get up on a window frame and shoot the enemy before they're inside. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to continue doing that or not, but that's just what that says. Cluster charges pellets bounce in random directions. We went over this exactly earlier. Mirror's black mirror cannot be destroyed if 3 X-Cairo pellets are placed on the black mirror. I have done this several times and not destroyed it, which has been frustrating, but it's a good thing that we can now destroy it when the pellets are actually on the mirror itself. Yokai is not detected on IQ's electronic detector. Now, I thought the drone was detected on her gadget, but I guess not. I don't know, but now it can be. Players are able to melee enemies through Black Mirror. I thought that was fixed already, but it's going to be fixed now. Placing a Black Mirror on non-reinforced walls with paintings will not destroy the props, and it will obscure the vision. So it's a good thing that they're going to be fixing this so that we can actually look through our mirrors. So if Pulse is hit with an EMP while scanning, the heartbeat and the circle effect will remain on the screen. It won't happen like that anymore. Now this next one was a really good thing to find. So when you're using Pulse's heartbeat sensor, at a distance, it will go through intervals where it scans and then it shows you where the person is. but when you're close to the person, the heartbeat won't skip any intervals like it's supposed to, and it'll be showing the enemy's position like it is in real time. So that's going to be changed, and now there's going to be more intervals instead of real time. Breaching Hammer does not hit destructible surfaces. We went over this earlier, so they're going to be fixing that, and we'll be able to hit things better. I thought this one was funny. Tachanka's eye slit is placed too high for his eyes, so now he can see us and gaze upon all of us. This is a really good thing to fix. So Thatcher's EMP grenades will not destroy electronics if Thatcher dies before that grenade goes off. So at least if he gets out his grenade now, it'll definitely destroy the electronics in range. So in ranked, the matches do not advance to overtime if the teams end the last round in a draw. But now, they will proceed to overtime. So this fix right here is I thought was already fixed. So if you're below a level 20, a clearance level 20, you can't join ranked even if you join with a friend. I thought that was already fixed so that you can't do that right now as it sits, but I guess I could be wrong. So here's an interesting one. Hostages do not take damage from falling. So does that mean that we can down hostages now by dropping them off our rooftops? So here's a level design change on Yacht, which we won't be playing anyway, but the operators can vault over deployable shield and enter into a metal part of the engine. Now, I've seen some videos on this, but I think I've seen the videos in a different location than the first floor back stairs. But this is a good thing to fix. It looks like maybe that this is getting stuck inside of the map instead of getting to an area that's opened, like I saw in the videos. Here's a fix on plane. Players are able to shoot through the surface of the plane to kill attackers in their spawn. This is an excellent thing to find and to fix so that we can't shoot through the plane and kill people at a safe place. So a couple fixes on house. There is a missing collision on the stairs of River Docks. I have personally dealt with this a few times doing my terrorist hunt strategy. The terrorists are just able to shoot right through those stairs right at you, and you can't really do much about it, but hope that you finish the round quickly. So that's good that this is going to be fixed. Black eye cameras can clip through walls if tossed from the training area. That's good. Another black eye camera that can be inside the wall of the training room. Now, I feel like these are kind of like the same thing. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, that's, you know, kind of sounds the same. But it's good that they're fixing this so that the cameras cannot be tossed inside the walls. Here's some on consulate. Drones can be forced to fall through the map. So that's good that they're going to fix that so drones do not fall through the map anymore. They're stopping another spawn kill spot. So here's another interesting one for the black eye cameras. It can be placed inside of a wall, inside of a half wall, and then right below it is black eye camera can be placed in a wall. So that's like a general one of the one right above it. So it's like, did you really need to mention that as well? So it feels like they're kind of making this list longer than it should be. And another one on consulate. There's a spot where an attacker can throw their drone and it can go anywhere on the entire map. So this is a good fix. So here's one on coastline. A sofa is now bulletproof. We got a couple here. One's on Hereford, kicking us out of cabinets. The next two right here are on Oregon. The first one is a diffuser fix, so you can't place it in the sink and laundry room anymore. And the second is that players right now can shoot through door frames and have their bullets go through indestructible walls. So that's a good thing to stop bullets from doing that. Another one on Oregon. Looks like another Valkyrie exploit glitch where you can throw your camera and be able to see rooms that you shouldn't be able to see. We got 3 on Cafe. We're going to be kicked out of some more shelving units. And also Valkyrie's cameras are going to be kicked out of places where it shouldn't be going. And onto some user experience fixes. Players will now automatically go to their drone during support rotation. I'm assuming that this is when they die, they'll automatically be thrown on their drone if it's still alive. Hopefully they take into account that the live players get the more interaction on the drones, just like they do on the cameras now. The renowned counter audio clip will now stop playing when you're backed out to the menu. I've had this happen several times. I know exactly how to do it. So if the counter is starting to go and you hear the tss going and you back out, it'll continue to go for a little while, but then it eventually stops. So with that fix, that's great because now I don't have to worry about when I'm actually backing out. So here's one for the audio. Attackers can hear defenders' voice lines. They can now not. I always thought it was funny when I heard ops yelling out exactly what they're doing. I figured that was just a counter to actually doing something. But I guess only your team hears it, so that's good. It's definitely a good thing to know. XP and Renown is not awarded when finishing a match. That's a good thing that they're fixing that. Operators can be visible through smokes in some lighting conditions. Now, we went over this for their new whole smoke system that we're doing, so didn't think that would really need to be necessary. So players who get kicked out of due for inactivity now are going to have a ban penalty timer. If you kill 2 of your teammates, you will receive a 2-minute penalty. After the last patch, players, like myself, reported nat type switching to strict, which mine did, so hopefully that's going to be fixed now. And last but certainly not least, they are taking out the being able to re-roll for the alpha packs. So you better do it while you still can. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about the style in the comments below. If you would like to support these kinds of videos in the future or any other videos, check out my links in the description. You can support me over on Patreon or over on Twitch. You can also help support me just by watching my ads around here. So tell me, what are you most excited about in this next patch? And you can get more updates with me over on Twitter. So I will see you guys in the next one, and until then, don't forget, stay different.